I titled today's conversation mind map, You Observe the Way It Appears. Today we go deeper into allowing our attention to remain on what is in harmony with your vision. So we know that energy flows where your attention goes. Thus you give life. Life appears through your attention. So we know thus the importance of allowing our attention to remain on what is ideally related to our vision versus allowing our attention to drift onto what is not related. Attention drifting onto what is not ideally related symbolizes lack of fulfillment-based beliefs. And more accurately put, it appears to go in a direction where one may believe it leads to fulfillment, only to result in lack of fulfillment. So in this conversation, we address what is going on in this regard from experience and working with many over the years in this area to address this mental phenomena permanently. To discuss, I've pulled together some quotes from The Master Key System by Charles Haanel. He says, "Attention or concentration is probably the most important essential in the development of mind culture. The cultivation of attention is the distinguishing characteristic of every successful individual and is the very highest personal accomplishment which can be acquired." Now, last week we discussed how developing mental concentration and attention enables many benefits. I'll link in the description to the video. A few include, number one, while engaging in an initiative, attention can easily remain on what is in harmony with it, denying thus automatically all that is not in harmony with it. Also, where attention is no longer given, so is the mind purified from those beliefs that correspond to those areas. In the Flow-Based Life series, which I'll link to in the description, this is part of the flow process where fear, doubt, and uncertainty-based beliefs are released if identified with. Another wonderful effect of practicing unwavering attention is the ability to easily think clearly and accurately for yourself, listening to your true inner voice and intuition, which speaks ideally from your vision. As there's no longer mental chattering about what is not in harmony with your vision, so emerge the thoughts from the silence that are ideal and in harmony with your vision, saturating your mind ideally accordingly. He says, the power of attention can be more readily understood by comparing it with a magnifying glass in which the rays of sunlight are focused. They possess no particular strength as long as the glass is moved about and the rays directed from one place to another. But let the glass be held perfectly still and let rays be focused on one spot for any length of time, the effect will become immediately apparent. So the mind is truly blank and clear, and you, as in life itself, are already fulfilled. Thus, attention can only appear to scatter to directions where one believes there is external fulfillment, only to result in lack of fulfillment, based on beliefs of lack of fulfillment placed in mind throughout life. If one acknowledges that all fulfillment is within now, there is no identification with beliefs that result in mind refracting the light of consciousness in the form of appearances of a person appearing to unnecessarily seek for external fulfillment, by which attention appears to drift onto what is not related to their vision. So let's bring up my pyramid of life, which we've discussed a number of times. I'll link in the description to some videos where we explore it. The big I represents the all, the heart of reality, the mind of God. The I above is what appears as the individual self, which created in the image of the Creator is already fulfilled. The second I is where I realize in imagination what I would like my fulfillment to appear as, which is our vision, the entrepreneurial success, for example. And the third I represents the actualization or materialization of the vision. What appears between this I and this I as the journey to actualizing the vision is done for you by the all. You simply allow it to happen by allowing your attention to remain on what is ideally related to your vision. As you acknowledge the I as already being fulfilled now, regardless of appearances, for the entrepreneur, for example, whenever our attention is exclusively on the current initiative in a flow-based way, more related ideas, hunches, and inspirations are received within from the all that are related to the project and related to the vision. I've experienced this many times. When working on a project, an ideal idea appears in mind, which ends up adding another revenue source or optimization, which radically transforms the business, all by allowing attention to remain on what is ideally related to the vision and allowing it to actualize ideally. He says, so with the power of thought, let power be dissipated by scattering the thought from one object to another, and no result is apparent. But focus this power through attention or concentration on any single purpose for any length of time, and nothing becomes impossible. So to not have thoughts scatter from one object to another, I also recommend practicing what we discussed in the 7-Day Mental Diet by Emmett Fox video. Over the years of practicing what he discussed, I've helped myself and many that I've worked with develop the ability to not identify with thoughts that are not ideal, so that their attention remains on what is relevant and related to their initiatives that are in harmony with their vision. By focusing your attention through your ideal thoughts and not allowing your attention to drift, mind purification occurs. As the 7-Day Mental Diet not only helps release identification to the inharmonious thoughts, but also the beliefs that generate those inharmonious thoughts. And you'll find that you won't appear distracted easily. And so we allow the infinite power from the all that is being channeled through your attention to what is in harmony with your vision. He says, it is, however, through attention that you will finally be able to overcome obstacles of any kind that appear in your path onward and upward. And the only way to acquire this wonderful power is by practice. Practice makes perfect, in this as in anything else. So I'd like to discuss practicing what we're discussing here by tying this into some aspects from the book The Kybalion in relation to overcoming seeming obstacles. Part of redirecting attention to transmute seeming obstacles into opportunities is the practice of real-time depolarization. See, if one's attention goes to an appearance and they experience reactivity to a belief in relation to it, they become polarized. It was not the appearance that polarized them. It was the belief in mind that was identified with that resulted in polarization or reactivity. They may then start to appear distracted, where their attention may appear to be fixed on that appearance and other aspects that follow that are related to that appearance. If, however, they are aware in the moment that they're about to reactivate the belief in relation to the appearance, they can depolarize, which means release identification to that belief within, which as a result, their attention will automatically go in a direction that is related to their vision. So let's talk about how to do this through mental transmutation. The Kybalion has this to say about mental transmutation. Transmutation is a term usually employed to designate the art of the transmutation of metals, particularly of the base metals, into gold. The word transmute means to change from one nature, form, or substance into another, to transform. And accordingly, mental transmutation means the art of changing and transforming mental states, forms, and conditions into others. So you may see that mental transmutation is the art of mental chemistry, if you like the term, a form of practical mystic psychology. So to depolarize yourself, to recalibrate your attention to what is related to your vision, consider the following. What we discussed on this channel is about making an impression on your subconscious mind of the end result that you desire, as well as, ideally, the journey to realizing your vision based on what appears, and so that you don't experience what is not ideal on the way to actualizing your vision, thus experiencing a flow-based, fun, joyous, blissful journey to actualizing your vision. This may be done with self-talk, autosuggestion, or any kind of imaginal activity. As we discussed in Sunday's video, when we think feelingly from the premise of already having what we desire, an impression is made on the subconscious mind, which is queued up for actualization. So the entrepreneur is on the way to actualizing their vision, as the impression has been made. What may appear on what appears as the journey to actualizing the vision are past beliefs playing out. We know what beliefs are playing out based on where our attention goes. And as we've established already, there's no power outside that prevents you from actualizing your vision. Those are only beliefs playing out as life experiences, where one may believe the power is outside, trying to take their attention away from actualizing their vision. They may say it appears as people, environment, circumstance, and information, which are only reflecting their beliefs. So we, in the moment, depolarize ourselves to the belief by bringing ourselves to a neutral presence, abiding as the I. Here, the self, which releases identification to the belief that resulted in the polarization to the appearance, allowing the attention to remain on what is in harmony with our vision. This is due to the fact that the vision has already been accepted as done, and it is actually in priority to be actualized. And any belief that is polarized in relation to seeming obstacles may be released by depolarization, being completely neutral, thus releasing identification to it, which then attention automatically appears to go in the direction that is in harmony with your vision. And so the key again is practicing being completely depolarized, if applicable, in the moment. By being completely neutral, you allow everything to happen ideally to actualize your vision. Abide as your unconditional self, the unbiased, neutral observer to depolarize. Charles Haanel says the same thing here in a different way, which I'd like to explore further. He says, "Those who will give no attention to the world without will seek only to ascertain the truth, will look only for wisdom, will find that this wisdom will unfold and disclose the source of all power, and it will manifest in thought and purpose, which will create the external conditions desired. This truth will find expression in noble purpose and courageous action." Now, I mentioned many times, there are infinite ways of realizing the self and actualizing the self. For me, the entrepreneurial path was a self-realization and self-actualization journey, and it continues to remain as a self-actualization journey, which upon realizing the self on the journey, beyond the world made visible through the five senses and mind, to acknowledge the self as unconditional love, fulfillment, happiness, and bliss, it is allowed to be actualized in and as various experiences of life, to actualize the self. And why is this the case? Well, any path in life you choose brings awareness to the fact that you are the I that exists beyond beliefs as you observe beliefs being released and changed. And you are then aware as to what remains, which is yourself as unconditional and changeless. So this changeless self is actually depolarized and neutral in observation. This is true self-acceptance. How this appears is a person appearing to be depolarized in the moment to whatever belief once identified with, as they know it's no longer true, and the person appearing to change, or what appears as the journey to actualizing the vision. See, the world made visible through the five senses appears animated by law. You imagine your world into experience by law. So attention experience from already being fulfilled now allows your attention to appear to go in a direction you desire. I like how Neville Goddard once said it. What you now desire, you already have, and you seek it only because you have already found it. You found it in the form of desire. So as you acknowledge that fulfillment is your true self, attention automatically appears to go in the direction where it appears as living life how you truly desire to live. So simply put, you depolarize in the moment by acknowledging you already have what you may believe the appearance suggests. You acknowledge you transcend all that appears and are fulfilled now. As you're aware of what appears as thoughts, beliefs, and whatever appearing as changeable. Another example, polarity can be changed from one end, let's say fear, to another end, courage. Fear may be neutralized to the middle, depolarized, to be transmuted into courage. Think of someone who's afraid of public speaking, but transmutes the fear into courage. They don't let the beliefs that generate the emotions of fear hold them back. They depolarize to release identification to that belief and imagine it playing out courageously, experiencing the emotions and behaviors then through courage accordingly. So the body and mind are integral parts of the overall life experience. Thoughts are also considered part of the overall experience, yet the I is liberated, free, and fulfilled beyond them. And just as you are fulfilled beyond them, you may choose at any moment what and how fulfillment appears as. To experience life, allowing your attention to remain ideally related to your vision, which is a symbol of your fulfillment to actualize accordingly. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's go ahead and conclude this with an auto-suggestion to further encourage. You could say, I allow my attention to remain on what is ideally related to my vision, as I acknowledge that my vision is a symbol of my fulfillment, of who I truly am, which is allowed to be actualized into form as experiences of a fulfilled life. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.